Shehzad Qazi is the managing director at China Beige Book and joins us this hour from New York. So Shehzad, good to have you with us. I'm just curious, your overall take on this. I think it's interesting to see that there has been, perhaps a PR win for each. And yet, when we look a little bit closer about what we know about the deal, it does seem to be, I'm seeing a fair amount of analysis that China may be coming out ahead in some aspects here. Would you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the Chinese perspective most certainly is that they have once again managed to outmaneuver America's quote-unquote deal maker in chief.
In terms of that, it was also interesting just noting how the meeting went. Mr. Trump was asked how he would rate it on a scale of 10. He said it was a 12. President Xi saying that both sides have come to a consensus, also highlighting that it's normal not to see eye to eye. Some parts of this, specifically when we're talking about those rare earth minerals, will need to be renewed. So overall, just how durable do you believe this deal, these agreements are?
Yeah, they're not durable at all, to be honest with you. I mean, even the framing is that they've essentially decided to punt for a year at best. That's the most optimistic takeaway. But what this means is that if the rare earths, magnets and such from the Chinese side are not released in a timely fashion, or they release some but not others, especially those that are used for military purposes, you could see a breakdown off this deal sooner rather than later. Same thing with Chinese purchases of soybeans, or perhaps a lack, pushback that there's not enough fentanyl cooperation taking place, which means the U.S. might ramp up tariffs again. We might go back and be more aggressive on export controls from the U.S. angle. So this is not durable in the least.
What does it say about the relationship of these two countries as well moving forward?
Well, they're unable to decouple fully, but they're also struggling to decouple in any kind of strategic manner from each other. Now, I think that may get resolved if a lot of the rare earths challenges that the U.S. faces, perhaps you start to see some solutions to that, and there's some decoupling in that area. But the reality is that Beijing maintains lots of choke points. Another big one that's almost never being talked about is pharmaceuticals, which means you could be back in the same boat, just with a different supply chain problem in the future if it's not rare earths.
It was important to note that soybeans were addressed, and I know you touched on soybeans. This has been, I've spoken to a number of farmers over the last several months about their frustrations and their concerns. But to your point, will be interesting to see how that materializes. Not a lot of details when it comes to TikTok. How important is that?
I think that's quite important for the president the president in the United States claiming a win with his base. But I think, again, it just underscores that a lot of wins can be announced in front of cameras and for PR purposes, but the details are light. There's not anything in writing here from what I can tell, which means that the uncertainty just only continues, and the risk of this breaking down or turning, even becoming a hotter trade war and an export control war with each other, that risk, I think, is very much alive.
When it comes to the uncertainty, the president's comments about resuming nuclear testing, I think sort of everybody just raised up when they saw those comments. President Xi talking about that, there's going to be a lot of continued uncertainty, as there has been in these negotiations. We don't have a lot of detail on what the president meant by those comments. And of course, he's looking for clarity. We have yet to get it from the White House or the president. Do you believe those comments, though, could complicate in any way what was agreed to?
I'm not sure if they will. I think they're probably being treated in China by and large as the president trying to assert American dominance or showcase American strength in areas where he can.
Shehzad, really great to have your perspective. Thank you. YouTube is now offering voluntary